Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's Pick-a-Read. The question for this one is, how do I change this? So it's assuming you want to change whatever is going on. The first choice will be the yellow butterfly. The second choice will be the blue butterfly. And the third choice will be the red butterfly, promoting more change. So I'm feeling the people who are going to be drawn towards the butterflies are going to be looking for that change or hoping for that change. So hopefully this will give some type of option or some type of way to change things, or at least get them to be different than what they currently are if you're not enjoying what they currently are. Also, if you're near Herkimer, New York, I am doing in-person readings. Send me an email for details. If you'd like a reading from me directly via video or however, below are the details for that. Shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. The donation information is also below if you're interested in that. If you need to, go ahead and pause this part of the video, take a look at the choices, and decide which one or which ones, if it's more than one, that you would like to watch to find out what your answer is. That being said, let's go ahead and get into the first choice. Hello, this is for those of you who chose the yellow butterfly. Question is, how do I change this? Whatever it is you're looking to change, how do you do that? Whatever it is, it seems like there's a lot of stress, and it seems like I'm not getting anything to move where I want it to move at the moment. So what are the possibilities we have? We gotta make the hard choice. Oh, okay. So there's more to come out. You do have possibilities here. Your moment is yet to arrive. Oh, we're going to push these out too. When you find what's missing, you're going to be able to make more decisions. Something hasn't come forward yet. More information has to come your way. You got the king and queen, I think, working to your benefit. Take that with a grain of salt. Sometimes people work to your benefit without intentionally doing so. So keep that in mind. These may not be people who are a fan of you. They may not be a fan of the people who chose the yellow butterfly, but they may do something that very much helps you change things or move things forward. It may not be their intention to help you, but something is yet to come forward. And I get that the situation does seem to be a little bit blessed with saying it's protected. So I don't think anybody's supposed to be down and out on this one. There should be a positive resolution for everybody involved as much as possible. I'm like, really? All right, maybe. The current energy, though, I keep getting like, it's not really doing anything. The current energy is kind of stagnant. It needs to move forward. It should be moving forward, but I do get that there's energy here that is not participating like it should. That seems to be holding things back a lot. Can we get more about that? Something here isn't participating. That's why we can't seem to do anything just yet. Knight of Fire and the Moon card being released. So the Moon card coming in like this, which is telling me the truth is showing up. It's just showing up very slowly. Somebody's going to randomly do something. There's a random act by somebody else that's going to change how things are going here. That random energy will take the pressure off of you for a moment and start opening doors. Okay, so there's more here. I feel like I'm treading carefully. I'm trying to be careful about how I say this. When this information comes forward, right, it's going to be a lot. You got the king and queen bringing forth the ace of swords, which tells me it's not a possibility. It's not soft. It's not gentle. This is what it is, and it's kind of like somebody giving a contract with all the rules. You need to read through it. You need to look at it. You need to really dissect it. When this does come forward, it kind of reminds me of Shakespeare. It's like, me personally, it's kind of like, can you understand it? Yes, but do I have to slow down and really think about what's being said? That as well. It may want you may have the urge to avoid it or ignore it because it seems like it's a mountain, seems like it's a lot. if you do avoid it, you're not going to get what you want out of this situation. By avoiding the subject, it doesn't seem like you're doing yourself any favors. If you want change, that's not really going to create change in your benefit. Whatever it is, the information coming towards you, I do get that there's going to be some uncomfortable energy. Well, a bit of uncomfortable energy. But if we go into it and we start pulling it apart and sifting through it, it really does remind me of like when I was in high school, having to read a book that I really had no interest in, but I'm like, well, we got to read it, so I got to figure it out. And going through it and just kind of like dissecting it as much as possible, so you can just kind of like try to remember it, try to keep it down, and just get through it, just to get over it, just to get it over with. It kind of feels like that to me. Because if you want the change to happen, it's going to take some work. It's going to have some very strict and uncomfortable boundaries. That devil card, I know the devil is scary, but I get that there's rules here, and that you got to be very careful about where you step and where you don't. You got to pay attention to every foot placement you have, and you're going to figure out what needs to happen here. It's not going to be the easiest thing to change, but it's going to be changeable. That information, when that information comes in, I'm kind of feeling this, as soon as it shows up, I would start working on it right away to get it off your plate. The longer it hangs out there, the more likely that things aren't going to go where you want them to. I do think that whatever the situation is, it has its own version of change happening anyway. I feel like this is more about it changing where you want it to, it going where you want it to. There's going to be a bit of effort with that. And the more you put into it, it's kind of like, I'm going to use that book report analogy again. The more you put into it, you're going to find pieces of the puzzle that you're like, I didn't realize this was a factor. I didn't realize this was a possibility. You're going to have better opportunities for you coming in. I know there's some more there, but this does feel like it's complicated to me. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing, though. So you got the Seven of Cups, and it comes in like this, which is telling me not everything's going to be solved, but you're going to get enough information to create what you want. I've also got the Tower, but it's upside down, which is telling me nothing is falling apart. The more I learn about this, the more I discover about this, the more I realize it's not as rickety or it's not as scary as I thought it was. It's just more tedious work. But that Tower upside down, I don't feel like I'm afraid of the Devil card as much. I just feel like I realize that there's a lot of work I have to do to get away from it. It's kind of like, all right, Devil's here in the middle of the valley, but the Devil's, as long as you stay on the right road and you don't go into places the Devil doesn't want you to go, you can keep traveling, and sooner or later you get over to that mountain and you get across the ridge. You'll be far enough away from the Devil that the Devil doesn't have any pull on you anymore. I just got to make sure that I don't give the Devil a reason to come chase me down. As long as I realize that and handle that way, I don't think I have to worry about that energy. I know that there's more coming in, but like it might be dependent on what you're dealing with. Because I see we have a good ending, but it's not without its trial and error. I don't want to act like it's, oh, skipping, singing, and all that other good stuff. I have to pour out my cup before I can fill up my cup. The Ace of Cups shows up like this at first, but you have the Lover's card showing up later. I have to pour out the cup. I have to get out of this energy. I have to let go of what is not working to get what is working. I feel like what they're saying is you can change this, but the original way you think you're going to change this may develop over time. Going through this process, you might decide that you want a different option or you want a different outcome than you originally felt was right for you. As things keep moving forward, as things keep developing, especially because the Lover's card is here, I will say it could be a romance thing that you're asking. If it is, it may be one of those things where you start working towards something, or you think you're going to be with somebody, you want to be with somebody, you're putting forth this effort to be with somebody, but as you start discovering who they really are, you might realize they don't match you, and you might choose something different. It could be something like this. Whatever it is you're going towards, they're saying change is available, change is here, but during the process, during the journey, you may really decide that, what I thought I wanted, what I thought was mine, it's not really what it is. It's not really what I want. You also have this card, just to be fair. You have that card playing to your favor. It's kind of like the cleansing waters is kind of saying, the more I look into it, the more I really start experiencing it, this isn't what I thought it was. This is not where I thought I wanted to be. And you may end up making a different choice. That other choice, that new evolved choice, will get you to that option, that outcome that you actually do want. Is there anything else with that? Just so I don't end up, you know, cutting this short on something that might be helpful. What is that? That is the Queen of Fire, but it's on its side, and you got the Hierophant the same way, which when this is how the card's coming up, which means there's some good aspects, there's some not so good aspects. So with the Queen of Fire coming in like that, it's going to be careful movement, but it's like, once I know what I want, I'm going to go get it. So it's kind of like, you know, seeing something that needs to be, like looking at a kitchen and like needing to revamp it and to like fix certain things. Kind of like, all right, I know this stove needs to be redone. When I find the right one, all right, I get it, and there we go. It's where it needs to be. Picking the tile, it's like, all right, it's going to take some time to decide what I want. Once I got it, though, all right, there we go. Now I need to have it put in. Pieces of it will go quickly, but only when I've made up my true mind of what I actually do want. My true mind, my true mind, my actual, like, this feels perfect. It's going to be like, instead of going, that'll do, that'll do won't work. It's kind of like, no, I love that. I want that here, put that here. Once I've decided that, boom, it'll go right into place. And it's like redoing a kitchen. It's like, as I find the pieces, as I find what I want, when I see it, I'm like, oh, that's it. Boom, we get it. We put it where it needs to go. But I'm not just doing things just to fill the space. I'm not doing things just to move it forward. I'm very careful in moving it forward as necessary. And when I do get what I want, because I got the Hierophant the same way, it's meant to lock in when I do get it. I won't let something fill up the space until I get exactly what I want. And once I get exactly what I want, it's there to stay. And it feels like that's how this evolves, to a place where I maybe didn't make the original choice I thought I was going to make, but now that I've gotten this far down the road, I'm only letting things in my space will definitely work, and I'm going to put them in a place where they're going to stay. I'm going to like choose them in a way that they're going to stay. I'm going to get what I actually want, and I'm going to make it so it stays. That's the way your choices are starting to be more evolved forward. I worked this hard to get it. I'm not going to let it slip away too easily. Anything else? All right, I'm going to shut this one down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day. Hello, this is for the people who chose the blue butterfly. How do I change this? So, I already shuffled the cards. Let's see what we come up with. So this is interesting. There's a lot of positive energy already here. There's a lot of positive energy already. Be careful about how you move forward. Something is pulling back. Is this a timing? I don't know if it's timing. There's a lot of positive energy already here. Change is already happening. I feel like I just don't know where the change is going to go, and I feel like that's what's really bothering me. For those of you this is going to hit with, I'm already conflicted about it. I'm already bothered by it. It may be the uncertainty of like what's coming next. The current energy, I feel like it's been stable for a long time, and there's changes coming, and I'm not really sure that I want those changes, ironically. It's almost like the actual question is like, how do I keep this from changing? Because there's a good energy here, and I feel like things are already coming in. I'm trying to get more information. I'm trying to understand why this has to happen. there's a lot of like uncertainty, and I want to have more control about what comes next. I don't want to be subject to what I'm given. I want to choose what comes next. And I get like it's the uncertainty. Even though there's good things coming, there's positive energy coming forward, I want to be more in the forefront. Especially because you got this card at the top here. It's the Magician. I get that there's a lot of things that other people seem like they're in control of, so it's like I need to have my fair share too. I don't want just somebody choosing for me. It reminds me of like, you know, when you're a kid and like somebody just says, this is what you're having for dinner, this is what you're having for lunch. This is more like I want to go to a restaurant and choose for myself what I want. The situation, I do feel like you're in it, in the middle of it, but it's also like I have to work with other people, which is not a bad thing. I'm not worried about that. You got the Sun card reversed, which is telling me it's not a bad situation, but it's kind of like this is not exactly the way I wanted it to work out. It reminds me of like, you know, for example, you know, say you have some belongings in a storage bin or something, and that storage bin gets damaged, and most everything in the storage bin has to be thrown out. But you're like, oh, the photo album is not completely destroyed. 90% of it, I can save it. Some of those things have been damaged, but you know, it's worth saving. I just got to take it out of that, get a new album, and I just got to clean up what I can. It's not a total loss, and I'm thankful for what I have. It's just not as good as it was. It's kind of that energy when the Sun card is reversed. It's like still good, not exactly the best way for it to work out, but I'm still thankful that I still have it. I'm still enjoying what I have left. 90% is better than nothing. And the Moon card is like, there's a lot of question marks about like, all right, I already lost 10%. Am I going to lose more? And is there a way maybe that somebody has copies of these things? Maybe I could get it back to 100%. I feel like I'm questioning, like, what can I do? So like if I'm using that photo album option, analogy, I should say, it's kind of like, all right, I lost 10% of that, but there's other people in the family or other people I know who might have these pictures or pictures from that time. Maybe I could get some other things to add in so that, like, you know, it can be a full album. Maybe not exactly the way it was, but I could still have what I had, or at least to a point where I can enjoy it like I used to. I understand there's change anyway. I get that. Can we get more details about what the change anyway is talking about? The Hierophant reversed, which is telling me something's being deconstructed. I also had this in the past. Whatever's been going on for a long time, it's not going to stay the way it was. It almost reminds me of, like, for example, if your grandparents had a family home, and for whatever reason they're selling it, and you're trying to find a way to buy it yourself, it's just not going to happen. I feel like it's changing, but it doesn't have to mean the things going forward are bad. The stability of the past is not going to be like the I keep seeing, I don't know why I feel bad about saying it. Like, there's not much you can do about it because the Seven of Pentacles is coming in this way. It's not like it's going to wait. It's not like there's much I can do. It's kind of like planting something a little bit too early outside, and then a frost comes through and puts you back to square one. It's like the change is going to happen. The Hierophant reverse reminds me of the King of Pentacles. It's just whatever there's definitely going to be a change here, but it's like going forward, can you at least have more of it the way you would enjoy it? Can it go more to your advantage? The way everybody else is going might not work for you. Okay. Can we get more about that? There's a lot of communication coming forward. People trying to balance things out. People trying to make their own decisions. I feel like the way other people are balancing this out, I don't feel like I have much say in that matter. To a point of this situation, there's going to be a level to where there's nothing I can do about it. I feel like there's nothing I can do. I feel like people make a judgment. People make decisions. And I do feel like it's just going to be what it's going to be. Judgment is being rendered by somebody else, and it's going to be carried out. There will be, though, some after effect, though. It's the after effect that can go more to your benefit. Because whatever this change is, The initial change is just going to be what it's going to be. Other people have more control over that. And then it's like trying to find a way, the after effect, something about the after effect, what's left afterwards, what we're doing afterwards, what we have as a result of this change afterwards. It's the after effect. I feel like I have to slow back and kind of like do a pro-cons list, and I feel like I have to do this multiple times, where I have to be like, all right, well, this part of it, that's not that bad. This part, I don't like at all. And I feel like I have to keep revisiting the subject about the after effect. I like this, I don't like that. This is okay, that's not really okay. I can do something about this, I can't do something about that. And I feel like I have to keep revisiting it. And I feel like a cooperative effort with the after effect seems to be more to your benefit. The change, whatever the change is, it's just going to happen. But I feel like you can be a very positive influence on the after effect. And you might be able to make more influence there. Things at least can be more to your liking at that point. The initial change is just going to be what the initial change is. Once we get to that part, where we're dealing with the after effects, you seem to have a lot more influence and a lot more power. You got the Knight of Cups going to your benefit and the Fool card. People seem to be more open to what you want. Once it's all said and done, once it's all settled, there's a lot of possibilities here for you. I do feel like the ability to create is a lot stronger here. You got the Wondrous Universe. There's a lot more things that can be created with the after effect. It's weird because it's kind of like I keep wanting to like look at this in a different light, but I keep getting that the initial change is going to be what the initial change is. I don't feel like I can positively change that. And when I say positively, like even if I do something drastic, I'm not going to get the outcome I like. I feel like I might have a different outcome, but it might be a less desirable than original. So keep that in mind. By going with the flow and centering on the after effect, and I know this is a general read, well, it's a pick a read, but still take it with a grain of salt. You know, make sure this is playing out and just you decide for yourself, make your own decisions, of course. But the after effect, going with your strengths in the after effect, can lead to a very positive and very enjoyable ending. It's just kind of like having the patience to get there. Is there anything else that I can say for the people who chose the blue butterfly that would make this a positive thing for them? These dice came out before. The Seven of Pentacles on its side, which is telling me you can try to do something, but it's not really going to have any effect. And then the 19, which is coming out the same way, it's just the Sun card, excuse me. It's telling me it may not be exactly what you want it to be, but it's still good. And it's like the trick is to see it for what the good part is, the good part that you wanted to have. Or like at least seeing like, all right, well, that's not exactly how I wanted it to play out, but the way it did play out, at least I got this benefit, and this other benefit. I keep trying to like find a way to like do something before the change actually happens, and they're saying no, it's going to be more the after effect. Your strength is where the after effect is if this reading is hitting. All right. I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day. Hello to the people who chose the red butterfly. Question is, how do I change this? Great question. Let's see what we got. We already shuffled. There's a lot going on around this situation. The situation seems very complicated to me. You might be in mid-change when you're asking about this. Don't be held down by obstacles. Obstacles are going to happen. Don't be held down by them. Okay. So this situation has its own process, whatever it is. Feels like the change is already happening. Whatever you're in, it's more about getting it to go where you want it to. It's not about making it happen. It's about getting it to go where I want it to. It's kind of like, I feel like I'm doing one of those marble games where you got to tilt it and stuff. How do I get the marble to go where I want to? It's clearly moving somewhere, but I want it to go over there, not over there. Go with the flow. Realize this is going through a process. There will be obstacles coming up. Don't let those obstacles rule you. Let them work to your advantage. It's kind of like, well, I didn't really want the liverwurst, but I know somebody who likes it, so maybe I could go and give it to them. Maybe they could help me out with something else. Maybe they could trade me for something like that. It's kind of like, even though not all of these options will be to my liking, they may show benefit in the long term. It kind of reminds me of that, like when somebody brings home the groceries and you're like, well, I don't really want liverwurst sandwiches for lunch, but you go to a school and you find a kid that does like liverwurst sandwiches, and you're like, what do you got, peanut butter and jelly? I'd love to trade you. Let's trade. So you may have options that you weren't expecting. Very simple option. I remember as a kid that some kids did that. They would trade their lunches, and sometimes their parents would get very upset about that. And I was just like, as long as you eat, why does it matter? But that's just my opinion. Where are we currently in this struggle is a good question, because for some of you, it's been showing that it's going to happen for a while now. It depends where you are in the process. Because for some of you, it's kind of like, I've been hearing it's coming, but it doesn't really happen. I keep seeing more evidence that it's going to happen, but it doesn't actually happen. It's just like, I keep seeing it coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's like that storm in the distance. It's like, I expect it to come around the corner any time now. It's just, they never seems to get close enough to actually happening. It's just so slow. And I'm like, is it coming? I believe it's coming. Is it coming? Is the change happening? It comes when it comes, in the sense of like, again, like I feel like there's a storm coming, and like, it's like the majority of it comes from the side. I didn't realize it was that close. It's like I keep seeing the clouds in the distance. They never seem to get close enough. Then all of a sudden, boom, they're just right here. Because I get like, when the change happens, it just seems to happen. Even though for the majority of you, you should see it coming, when it actually is like, we're going, it's almost like being a kid again. You know that you're going to move, and you don't know what day. They keep saying, oh, soon, oh, soon, oh, soon. And a few months pass, and you're like, oh, I wonder if you're actually going to move. One day you wake up, everything's in the car, and you're like, well, we're going. Put these boxes where you need to go, because somebody else is going to take them to where we're going, but we're done. We're done here. We're moving today. It kind of feels like that to me. It's kind of like, okay, I don't know why we had to wait till, a surprise for this to happen, but it just all of a sudden happens all at once. I don't feel like I like the way it happens, but I don't know that I really have a choice in it, because it doesn't feel like what it finally does when the choice is here, like we're moving. Like, Saturday morning, for example, you just wake up and you see that the car's all packed and we're going. You're like, I don't understand why we couldn't give me a heads up like a week or two before this actual date happened, but here we are. It doesn't feel like I have a lot of options, but I get that you still do. It's just they're not as apparent. Is there anything that could help the people who chose the red butterfly be ready for that? The Tower card comes in like it. I feel like it's just going to be what it's going to be. 12 of Pentacles is the Knight of Pentacles. I believe, because I do pages 11, 12 is the Knight. It's coming in like this, which is telling me somebody else might have been planning when this was going to happen, but they purposely did not want you to know. Take it with a grain of salt. It's it's an online reading. Even though it's a pick a read, it's still general, if you follow me. It can fit a lot of people. But I'm getting that even though other people knew when it was going to happen, they did not want you to know. And there might be a tactic involved with that, because they want you to move forward in the direction they're choosing, and not of your own choosing. There might be that there too. Whether that's correct or not, take it with a grain of salt. I feel like there might be another reason why you're very conflicted about this. It's kind of like, you want to be able to have your choice and you decide what you want. You don't want it to be in somebody else's hand, but for whatever reason, they want it to be in their choice, in their what they want. I feel like maybe for some of you, this is one of those things where the change is happening. It's just, can I change it from somebody else's control to my control? And that might be where we're having a lot of conflict here, because it's like, I don't like that they're able to choose where I'm going to go. It also reminds me of certain things, like when you work at certain places, they bring in some more work to the team, and it's just like you get stuck doing things that maybe you didn't want to and maybe never signed on for. And it's kind of like, is there a way I can get around this or change this? While it's happening, is there anything I'm missing that the red butterfly could do, the people who chose it? Is there anything I'm missing that I haven't talked about? The world is coming in. They're like, it's we got to go through the possibilities. And the Fool is also kind of coming in, like, they're saying just kind of roll with it in the beginning. Roll with it in the beginning. You have to get on the inside before you can see what's actually for you. So it's almost like, again, if I'm going to give that analogy of a work situation where, you know, the team took on a bunch of work and you just kind of got stuck with a couple things that you have to do that you don't want. Go along with it for now. As it evolves forward, you may find that there's more things on the inside once you're there that you didn't realize you had possibilities or advantages to. We got to kind of go down the road a little bit with this one for a while. The distant thunder and the answering the call is kind of like, I feel like I don't want to be as noticed at this point because there are more obstacles coming. This situation is going to have a lot of obstacles. There's more obstacles coming, so it's kind of like I want to kind of like reserve myself and wait for the big problems and save my energy for the bigger problems. I want to conserve my energy. I feel like it's a better option, or a more empowering option, I should say. Judgment. What is Judgment telling you? This is where things get complicated, I feel. Because there's going to be a lot of energy, there's a lot of conflict here. I don't think you're the only person that wants to change this in your direction. It may get really complicated. The Justice card, but like this, which is telling me there's some good and some bad with that. And then the Queen of Swords also coming in. No, the Queen of Swords is right side up when it comes up in the dice. When this happens, there's going to be some very strong communication coming in. I feel like this is situations coming in waves, and coming in waves. I really get that you want to bide your time. I would be careful not to move forward while you're in the Moon card, while things are a mystery and you're like, I don't know what's going on here. There's going to be a lot of people trying to get what they want and they don't know what's really happening. That's not going to be your strongest time to move forward. Wait till the light of day comes in and you can really see what you actually want. Bide your time. So whatever this is, there's things going, there's things doing what they're going to do, there's things not going where you want them to go, but wait till you know for sure what's happening before you start moving forward. If you're able to do that, sometimes I see the Lover's card as passing the test. You'll be able to pass these obstacles. You'll be able to get around these obstacles. You'll be able to deal with these obstacles and get where you want to be, but they're saying you got to reserve it. You got to hold back. It reminds me of, like, again, I keep getting work situations. It doesn't have to be a work situation, of course, it's a general read. But I remember this in a couple different places, actually. Certain people complain, and they constantly complain and complain and complain and complain. When management especially gets used to dealing with certain people, they're just going to complain no matter what they do. They don't worry about it, because it's like, no matter if I give you what you want or you don't want, I'm going to have to deal with you in the same way, so why worry about it? I'm not going to bend over backwards for you, because whether I do or not, you're going to be a pain in my butt. Other people who are more efficient and try to get things done, and just they're very selective about what they come forward with, that has a different effect. Kind of like, well, this person wouldn't complain unless they were really unhappy, and if I'm able to do something for them, they'll be fine and they'll leave me alone. They're more likely to be more to your benefit. So I get, like, be very choosy about when you move forward. Be very choosy about when you want to get what you want. Make sure you know what you're working towards and you have something to stand on to say, this is what I want and this is why I want it. If you're able to do that, see, I don't know, there's a lot going on. This situation, there's people who are getting what they want, and there's people who are upset that people got what they want. I feel like that when I see these four cards come together, I do see that some people are getting what they want with the Ace of Cups. Other people are just mad because somebody else got something and they feel like because they got what they wanted, I got screwed over. Even though they didn't want it. It's kind of like, again, the liverwurst sandwich. I'm a person that likes liverwurst sandwiches. Not everybody likes them. But some people might get upset because they're like, oh, he's enjoying his sandwich. That's not fair. He got something better than I did. Well, you had your chance at the liverwurst. Well, I didn't want that. I wanted something better. Well, he just happens to like it. Not realizing that it wasn't that anybody got anything better. It's just of the options there. Some people just like the options. And some people are going to get very upset that people who got what they wanted, if it's just what was available. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? If you have like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a piece of pizza, and a salad, and whoever this person is, they're just like, I wanted macaroni and cheese, and none of those options work. But somebody's like, well, I wanted, the salad, and they're very happy with that. You know what I mean? They're just going to kind of have that negative energy. Be careful of that. That seems to be very prevalent here. You don't have to worry about it. Just slow down. Make sure you get what you want. Make sure you see what you want before you choose it. That'll help too. Because that's another reason I feel like that energy is a little bit negative over here. They might have moved forward too quickly. They saw the peanut butter and jelly sandwich and just jumped on it. Meanwhile, what they actually wanted was the pizza. But because they already got their choice, they saw the peanut butter and jelly sandwich and thought, oh, that's probably the best there's going to be. I'll just take that. They didn't get their option with the pizza. Somebody else got the pizza. Now they're angry that somebody got the pizza. But they got first choice while it was there. They're not seeing it that way. They got to grab what was right in front of them, so they just got it and left. They're not realizing that they took that option from that person. Maybe that person wanted that. I don't know. It seems like it's splitting hairs, but be careful not to get sucked into that game is what I'm getting. Because I get that you could have something good here. You can have what you want. Just go slowly. Make sure you watch how people are reacting towards each other. That might tell you a lot about some of the people you're dealing with, if there's more than one. Because some people are just happy to have what they have. Other people are just upset because other people are happy. Be aware of it. So I feel like they're saying bide your time for this. If you want to change this, it's coming forward. It's going to happen when it wants to happen. Just bide your time and make sure you see and you know what you're asking so you can get around these obstacles and you can have what you really want here. It's just about biding your time is what I keep getting. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. Hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. This is James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.